Hi. I'm sorry that you're getting a really teeny video. I just wanted to come on and give a quick update on my amazing Ben 10 and thank everyone for the lovely messages and comments on him. I realised that I hadn't really explained what was going on, and to be honest it's because we didn't really know ourselves. But now we've got our diagnosis and we know what we're dealing with, and I know a lot of people will probably think I'm just oversharing, but if this can help anyone else that ever gets in this situation, then I'm glad I've done this, because this has been hell, if I'm honest. For those of you that don't know, I owned Shanbo previously for 3 years with my sister, and we had the most amazing 3 years, taking him from a novice 5-year-old to the most amazing all-rounder, show pony, event pony. He could do it all, absolutely all, and he did it with a big smile on his face, with so much confidence. He was second in his first Hoys qualifier, second out of 56 ponies, and in the workers. And he was eating up BE 90s like they were nothing. He was training at BE novice level with the biggest smile on his face. He just pinged over everything. All the jumps were bigger than him and he just loved it. It was for that reason that we decided to try and find him a smaller and younger rider to go and, you know, do pony club, do teams, just all the fun stuff. We felt that he deserved that. I'm 5'9" and felt that I couldn't really event him much further. And yeah, we made the heartbreaking decision to find him a new family, which we did, and they were the most amazing family that kept us up to date, and they probably got sick of me always asking for updates, but they were so kind and always sent me videos and photos of him. And 2 years passed and I sent just a wee check-in message, as I always did, and they explained that they would be selling him at the end of the season to find something bigger. No questions asked, no vetting. I said I'll take him before I'd even told my family. I just knew that that pony needed to come back. So I think about 6 weeks passed and Ben came home, and it was the best day ever. It was so good to have him back on Scottish soil, down in the yard. It was just best day. I quickly realised that Ben didn't really feel or act like how he did when he left. It kind of started with the day that he arrived. The transporter had explained to us that they had been concerned with the way he was chewing hay during his overnight stop at theirs, halfway up during his journey, and we booked him in to get his teeth done. And when he had the dental gag put on, it was just the next day, he had a real overreaction to it, threw himself against the wall, was really unhappy, really stressed, which was unlike him, to be honest. And I kind of worried, oh, there's going to be something bad going on with his teeth, but there was absolutely nothing to report. Teeth were looking good. And I thought, maybe it could just be unsettled from his journey, wasn't sure, but I gave him a few more days to chill, and then I decided it was time to get back on. Day one, I fell off. Now, in the 3 years I had Ben before, I fell off once, and that was at the Kinnimuir Water. After he went over the jump, I fell off at the other side. So to fall off on my first day of riding him and our second bout of owning him, it was a bit embarrassing. It kind of came from nowhere, if I'm honest. But I just put it down to, I'm not used to him, he's not used to me anymore. I've been riding bigger ponies and horses, and I just need to go back to basics, not get ahead of myself, and we'll get back on with it soon enough. As the next few weeks went by, I mean, he was still the most amazing Ben 10 ever. We went out to first workers and he won and was champion. But even going around that course, I said to my close friends, it doesn't feel like him. He just felt sticky. He felt like he was lacking confidence. And I didn't get it. The courses weren't huge. You used to pig around anything with no fear whatsoever. And anyway, anyone looking at me moaning about a pony that's just won and gone champion is going to think I'm a lunatic. And people might be watching now and saying, I did think you were a lunatic. But something just wasn't sitting right with me. And that feeling continued when I took him cross-country training. I was happily jumping BE novice fences on him. We did do the BE novice training track around bar skimming. Bar skimming had been cancelled, but we managed to get a David Gather lesson a few days later. And I do love Davy G, but God, he puts the fear in me when he tells me to go over these big fences that are bigger than my pony. But Ben ate those up, pinged round them, no bother. So to go to this cross-country hire and struggle to get over 60 centimetres was worrying. I cut that trip short. We didn't do much. We had our friends on while they tackled the course beautifully, but I did a few 60, 70 and then called it that. I thought, no, something doesn't feel right. He was chipping in these little quarter strides, not even half strides. Our stride would be spot on, and it just felt like he got to the jump and thought, oh, can't do it, and then he would kind of clamber himself over, and I thought, any bigger, he's going to hurt himself, or he's going to hurt me. So we packed him up and took him home. With David, we then took everything back to basics. We started from pulls and worked up. And in the school, he was going, we started going beautifully. He felt really good jumping around the course in the school. We did hoist qualifiers. At Stoneleigh, on the surface, he felt mega. It was really unreal. It was so much fun. At MPS Champs, he got round with one down, but I felt like I had to ride every single stride. And he was also really naughty in the warm-up, which again was so unlike Ben. He was rearing up and everyone was laughing. Even I was laughing because I thought, oh my God, what's going on with Ben 10? But then as more weeks went by, it all dawned on me, no, this isn't attitude, this is discomfort. So some physical changes that we'd noticed was, in particular, a rub patch on his left ear, which his owners had warned us about the day that he returned to us. This rub patch, they didn't know where it came from, and we just thought, well, different routine, different wardrobe, it will fade away here. That never faded. And I had never seen him rub it. But anyway, it was not sore. It wasn't like sore skin or broken skin. It was just purely perfect circle, no hair. And then another thing I'd noticed was every so often when riding, his left ear was pinned back. Like he'd got like a flyer, buck in it. But then that would be just for a short period of time and then it would go back to normal. As time went on, the pin back ear was more noticeable. It was coming for longer periods of time. His left eye started watering 24/7, constantly, still watering. This has been months now. And his left nostril was kind of to the side. So eventually I just thought, enough's enough. I can't sit with myself and just push this pony through it. I feel like something's not right. I kept saying to Susie, I just felt like there was a pressure here and he wasn't enjoying something. So I got my vet out, who I'm really lucky that my vet is also a good friend and a friend of the family. So she knew Ben well, and she agreed that this was a bizarre one, but there was definitely something not right. So we were referred to Glasgow Vet School, where he spent the day having various tests, which didn't come up with anything significant at first, which was frustrating to say the least. Then moved on to X-rays. That's when they confirmed an abnormality in the bone in the middle ear area. So what they explained to us was that this could be a fracture from early onset arthritis or a trauma. Neither of these sat well with me. I couldn't figure out how he could have either of those. Was he just very unlucky to have arthritis and a bone in his skull when he's not showing it anywhere else? And also, if there was any kind of trauma, his amazing old owners would have told me. I don't think they would have sold me a pony that had a serious head trauma. They did explain it could be anything as simple as him pulling back when tied up, but I thought that's so unlike him. I didn't think that would have even happened. Anyway, they said the only way to confirm what this abnormality was to get a CT scan, which was only available at Edinburgh Vet School. So Wednesday of this week, that's where we were. We dropped him off at 10 o'clock in the morning and he was booked in for 11. We were told that he wouldn't be able to travel home for a number of hours due to the heavy sedation he would need for it, so Susie and I went and wasted a few hours in Edinburgh just trying to keep ourselves busy. Really, we were just talking and thinking about our pony the whole time. We came back to collect him and he was such a sorry sight to see. My heart broke, honestly, as soon as they opened the door and we saw him. I'll be honest and say I was gutted with the lady telling me that yes, we found something, but we can't tell you because you're not a client of ours. You'll need to wait for Glasgow to tell you. And I understand that might be a liability issue or something like that, but for someone to stand there and tell you, yeah, we know that your pony has something wrong with it, but you're not going to find out until tomorrow. That sucked. We didn't even know if our pony was going to live or die. And yeah, we thought, this is it. 24 hours of worry is coming our way. Anyway, luckily Susie phoned the vet school in Glasgow and explained that we'd been told that they did find something, and please could they let us know today if possible, because we were now just full of worry, and they were really understanding. And at 6 o'clock we got the phone call to say that yes, it was confirmed that Ben was suffering from something that we had suggested at the very beginning, but we were told it was so rare that it would be very unlikely to happen to him. So he has a deep-rooted middle ear infection which has been brewing for so long and become so toxic that it has corroded the bone away within his skull. And the vets explained to us that this really is so rare that they've never actually come across it in a living horse. They found it during post-mortem, and there's no real literature or research or anything on this because it's so rare. So Ben really is a 1 in a million, which this 1 in a million I really wish he wasn't. Obviously it's a very difficult area for them to take a sample from to find out how the infection's got there and what kind of exact infection it is. He would need to be knocked out and undergo severe work for several hours. And so the vets decided that it was in his best interest to just try and tackle this with antibiotics first and reassess in a couple of weeks. And obviously this bone has already started to corrode. There's a severe infection that has been brewing for months and months and months since much earlier on this year. So this is a really big thing to tackle. But we've got extremely strong antibiotics to give him over the next 2 weeks, and then he will be assessed and then potentially on them for another 2 weeks and then reassessed again. So started them today and we're just gonna keep an eye on him and look out for any positive changes in him and keep everything crossed that he can make it through this. He's not out of the woods yet at all, by no means. As I said, this is so rare, there's no set cure for this. We don't know if we can fully cure him, but my God, we're going to try because he is one of the most special ponies and he deserves the best life ever, so we're going to try and give it to him. I guess another real reason I wanted to post this video was to say, if anyone ever notices changes in their pony, get it checked out. I'm kicking myself for not pushing for him to be checked out sooner. I know I was so worried that I would just be wasting vets' time saying my pony doesn't seem happy. But now I don't know if anything would be different if I got it checked out a few weeks prior, but yeah, that's the guilt that I'm living with. And to think that, you know, if we didn't buy him back and he was sold to another home, I just feel like from the small changes that I noticed, I think people would just think he was misbehaving. You know, having some stops, not being very good with the striding, and having a few rears doesn't sound very extreme, does it? But I don't know, it just was always there in my gut that this wasn't him. He was not himself. And I'm glad we found it now, to be fair, but I wish I'd found it sooner. Not put him through the pain and discomfort of going out and working and jumping. The vets were really helpful when I asked plenty of questions, you know, just trying to piece together all the kind of abnormalities in his behaviour. And yeah, they confirmed that, you know, cantering and jumping on the hard ground would be uncomfortable for him. All that pressure, the impact running through his body, the pressure in his head, like, no wonder he wasn't being able to see strides for himself. Like, he's going through so much discomfort in his head, and here I am, yeehan and kicking on, trying to get him to go over cross-country jumps. I feel like a horrid person. And they just, yeah, they agreed that potentially on the left rein, you know, obviously if he's turning that way at all, the pressure might build up, you know, that's where the infection is kind of based, so there's obviously been a lot of pain and discomfort there. And yeah, even looking back to the dental gag being put on him, like even the positioning of him getting his mouth forced open, that would be enough to make him really uncomfortable. So that shows that, you know, he really has been going through this a long time, and he's never pulled a nasty face at me, he's never bitten, kicked or anything. He is literally the easiest pony to deal with and the nicest pony to deal with, all while he's been going through a horrible condition. So I don't know, so please just keep maintaining your thoughts and keep fingers and toes crossed, please, and hopefully in a few weeks I'll be able to give a bit more of a positive update. I really hope I can. Aye.